These reflections usually focus on the gospel for the day. But on Sundays, our first reading is chosen to connect in some way with the gospel. Today's Old Testament reading is a personal favorite of mine, so permit me to use it to suggest a gospel connection. The text tells of the prophet Elijah on Mount Horeb, fleeing in fear from his persecutors. And there on the mountain, the prophet endures a strong wind, an earthquake, and fire. But we're told that the Lord was not in any of these. Then there's a tiny whispering sound. At this, Elijah hides his face and stands to face God. The prophet endures the dramatic display of nature only to meet God in an unexpected way. In today's gospel, the disciples of Jesus are caught in a violent storm on the Sea of Galilee, and Jesus is not with them, having gone, like the prophet, to a mountaintop to pray. But then, unexpectedly, they see Jesus, a ghostly apparition, walking toward them on the water. It's a rather dramatic experience. Now, I suggest a connection between Peter and the other disciples with Elijah in the first reading. You remember that Peter takes Jesus' invitation to walk with him on the water, but becomes afraid when he begins to sink. When Jesus saves him, he chides Peter for his lack of faith. And when the wind dies down, the disciples, like Elijah, recognize God's presence in Jesus as the Son of God. And here, I believe, is the connection. The faith Jesus was looking for was not to be found solely in the dramatic calming of the sea. Rather, it was in taking a risk to step out of the boat, even in the midst of the storm, to trust that Jesus is with us. Take courage, he says. It is I. Do not be afraid.